I got married when I was 18 years old, and I had 3 kids by the time I was 21. My marriage was nothing but living hell for 15 years. My ex-wife, I believe, is what they call a covert narcissist. I'm not just throwing that word out there lightly, because people love to use that word on the internet these days and just say, this person's a narcissist. And, they probably aren't. They just have some narcissistic traits. But I certainly believe my ex-wife was like the real thing. And everything that I've learned in my life, all the wisdom that I've gained, all the teachings that I pass on to my coaching clients have pretty much all been learned during that time, during that 15-year-long hell of a marriage. And honestly, it was so difficult, it was so crushing and so soul-destroying that it made me face who I really am. I went through a cycle of suffering and wanting to leave, and then deciding, basically for the sake of my kids, that I needed to go back and that I needed to open myself up back to my ex-wife and have another go at making our relationship work. And every time I went through that cycle, it got worse. Every time that I would recommit to the relationship, then when she mistreated me again in various ways, then the pain got worse. I talk about some of these things because people can relate. Like, for example, that she had an affair with our neighbor and then slept with our landlord, and then another one was to do to her work. And those are the ones I know about. But and a lot of people hear that, she was banging our landlord, and they think, oh wow, that's really terrible. But honestly, it's the mental torture, it's the disconnection from reality, it's the mind games that's what really creates the suffering. I've been through all kinds of difficult stuff in my life, that would sound pretty horrific, but nothing was as bad as the disconnection from reality of having her question and erode my sense of self. But the thing is that by going through that, by having layer after layer of my ego stripped away, of who I thought I was removed, just essentially through intense suffering, I got to see all the different parts of who I am. It's only when we know ourselves that we can know others. And I really got to see who I truly am on the inside. As each different layer was attacked and scrubbed away, and I went to a new level, I got to see myself and my real motivations for what I was doing. And they're definitely not all pretty, definitely not all good. At first I thought, well, I'm just trying to help people, and I'm all just about loving my wife, and I'm just trying to help. But I realized after a while that a lot of things I was doing were selfish. A lot of my motivations were self-seeking and self-serving. But eventually, as I got more and more destroyed, more and more suffering occurred, and I lost myself more and more, eventually I got to a place where there was something at the bottom that couldn't be scrubbed away, and that was me. That's my true self, my spirit. And so these experiences, these really, really terrible, difficult, traumatic experiences have actually taught me everything that I know about how to help other people heal themselves, accept themselves, and create love and abundance in their life. So I just want to encourage you to keep going. If you're in a difficult, suffering situation, then stay with yourself. Accept the situation and question, why am I here? Why am I doing this? When I say keep going, I don't mean that you have to stay in a difficult relationship. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is stay in your relationship with yourself. Keep loving yourself and noticing who you are in those different situations, and try to accept the truth of why you do what you do, how you got there. Because really, ultimately, it's your responsibility. It was my responsibility to choose that relationship and choose that person. It was my responsibility, my choice. I was attracted to the chaos. I was attracted to the destruction. I liked it. I liked it on some level. How can I say, oh, I like the destruction? Well, one of the ways that I liked being mistreated is It gave me an excuse, gave me a reason to say, well, this is not my fault. I became a victim. I was able to say, I'm a victim here. It's not my fault. It's that person. It's my ex-wife. It's her fault that I'm feeling terrible. It's her fault that my life is a mess. It's her fault that I'm in this bad place. It's her fault that I smoke weed all the time and drink alcohol. I mean, I don't do those things anymore, but I did at the time a lot as a way of coping, you know? But there's no excuse for that. That's my responsibility. I chose that. And staying in this awful relationship allowed me to wallow and to embrace the suffering and embrace the pain and agree with it. Say, yeah, it's so terrible that this is happening. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. And that met my need for innocence, one of the 4 fundamental needs. Here's a really great tip to think about. There's 4 basic needs that we all have, and everything we're doing is to meet one of those needs, and they are innocence, security, progress, and significance. So everything you do, all your problems, all the bad things that you do and all the good things you do are somehow tied to innocence, security, progress, and significance. We're doing something to get those needs met. Anyway, this is a very, very brief outline. My marriage was incredibly toxic. It was 15 years. And what I learned is all the ways not to be, all the ways to not have a relationship, to not be healthy, all the ways to not treat people, all the wrong ways to exist in the world. And because of that, I now can reflect back on those and flip them over and see, this is how I should behave. This is how a person can behave and how a healthy, good relationship with yourself does look, because I explored very thoroughly, all the ways not to be. So hopefully this has been a little bit helpful for you. If you have any questions, please comment below and give me some ideas on what you might want me to make any videos about, any solutions that I could offer you. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Peace.